and welcome back to On the Slab Horror Show with me, Carl Kingwo King, woo, and my other dude in crime, the G-Man, Greg Flanagan. How are you, brother?
What's happening, homie?
Not much, just getting over Easter. How about you? Are you eating loads of chocolate and all that crap?
I'm not overly a big chocolate guy, but I do have to take the occasional dad tax.
Of course,
Yeah.
everyone has to do it.
I
Everyone
mean, they
has.
can't eat them all themselves.
No, no. I mean,
They
it's
can
so fun.
try.
Yeah, we put all the kids' eggs into a bowl, put it in the fridge. And God, they don't know how much they're getting out of it. You know what I mean? It's great. But yeah, haven't done it yet though. But
You'll get
anyway,
there.
exactly, we'll get there. As you can see, we're a man down tonight. Dynamo is not with us tonight, but he'll be back next week. Shout out to Ian Dynamo Kelly. And yeah, so we kind of threw our plans a little bit for this week, but we thought we'd come up with a good show. We think we have a good show anyway, so
We always have a good show.
we always have a good show. But before we go on, I want to just do some housekeeping, as Dynamo to say. Don't forget, the show is brought to you by Fright Rags, which is the best horror merchandise on the planet. We all
Facts.
know that. I mean, as you can see, Greg is rocking his Halloween long sleeve there. Awesome stuff. Fantastic.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, and we've been getting a great reception from people to Fright Rags and their products, and it's great. We're going to be doing an order again really soon, so there'll be more to look at and buy. Yeah, exactly. Well, here's the great thing. I mean, they've good prices. It's reasonable. And the sizes are fantastic, and the
Oh yeah.
quality is fantastic.
Like I've said before, like I have my oldest one for 9 years, and they're still perfect.
There
Still
you
as
go.
black as they were when the day I bought them.
Yeah, and they're probably the best T-shirts I've ever gotten, and I've gotten all types of T-shirts over the years, but the quality is just second to
Yeah.
none. But anyway, if you type in OTS Horror 10 when you're cashing out for your T-shirt, you get a little 10% discount, and that'll help. Pay if you're buying from over here, it'll pay for your customs or whatever the case may be, because they're sneaky fuckers. The customs, aren't they?
They
Aren't they?
sure are. They sure are. Just
Anyway,
on that, they have literally, obviously, today being Friday, on Wednesday they dropped the Brian De Palma classic Kerry, or is Carrie even?
Carrie, yeah,
Sounded like Kerry when I said it.
Carrie.
Yeah, Carrie, line there. So
Mm.
there's some lovely t-shirts in there. It's obviously a cracking movie too.
Yeah, it's awesome. They've some. When you look at the designs that they come up with, like well, it's great that the licenses that they get,
Yeah,
and then they give their artists frame to kind of play around with. It's fantastic,
yeah.
fantastic stuff altogether.
And the team are sound to deal with too. Obviously Ben, we've had on a couple of times.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
then the rest of the team as well. It's great.
But yeah, so again, Fry Rags hyphen
Yeah,
Fry
fright hyphen
hyphen
rags.
rags.com, and as I said, OTS Horror 10, and there'll be a little link, of course, for all of this at the end, and a little reminder at the very end. But for now, back to business, our business. We were talking today, funny enough, about a term that pisses us off so much. And
Almost as much as that 2022 Texas Chainsaw pissed me off. This word does.
Yes, I agree. And
I fucking hate it.
where did I heard the term? I only heard the term recently watching the new Scream, because I never acknowledged it before. Elevated horror,
Fucking stupid. Stupid.
right? It's always been known as psychological horror. What's the
AKA
problem?
good horror.
Yeah, and I think some of the what we're gonna do is we're gonna give you some picks for our favorite psychological horror, or if you're of the younger age, elevated horror, whatever. But we're gonna call it psychological horror. Now, what we're gonna do is I took two, Greg took two, and then we had one that we both agreed on. So that's how we're gonna
Right.
yeah, and that's how we're gonna roll it, and it's gonna be a couple of honorable mentions as well. So look, if you haven't seen these, I'd highly recommend all five on the list. Greg maybe not, but I will.
When Cal can vouch for five, one I'm not a fan of, but it's not. That's not saying it's a bad movie. It's just I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, you need to look at it again.
I do. I did say that to you on the
You
phone
did.
earlier.
You did. So anyway, we're gonna go through it, right? So as I mean, what would you class a I keep going to say fucking elevated horror. Psychological horror is it's one of the better types of horror, I feel, you know?
It's ones that make you think. You have to actually watch it. Like there's certain horror, like as I said, the 2022 Texas Chainsaw. You could sit there and watch that, and like if it wasn't Texas Chainsaw, you'd sit there and watch it. It's a slasher movie, fine.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street. Sit there and watch them. Slashers are great. Very little story theoretically to follow.
Yeah. Leave your brain at the door type thing.
Yeah. Then you have the likes of Silence of the Lambs. Now that didn't make either of our lists, but that's not to say that it's not. It's we tried to stick away from that one. Obviously being arguably probably the best psychological horror there is.
Yeah,
obviously winning the best five at the Oscars tells you that, but we tried to pick one that wasn't that. Because other than that, it would have been the same five probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you'd have that where you have to sit and actually follow the story, and like you'd have twists and turns along the way. And some of these movies, I'll sit there and watch, and I'll sit there and get to the end of it, and I'll be like, "Wow, didn't see that coming."
Yeah, that's what I love about them, and it gives you something to, like you say, it really gives you something to think about. And you know, there's every chance you might have missed one or two little things that if you psychological horrors require multiple viewing, I think, to get the full experience of them.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And like everyone bar the one that I said I didn't like, I've seen multiple times.
Well, funny enough, the one you have said that you don't like, I've only watched it once, and I'll tell you why later on.
Yeah. It's certainly not an easy watch.
No. But well, sure, look, we'll start off. Do you want to go first, or will I?
I'll go first.
Off you pop.
We'll head to 2000, and we'll get Christian Bale in as Patrick Bateman in American Psycho.
What a film! Great way to open up this show.
Yeah. This movie, I remember watching this. I was about 12, 13 maybe, and I remember seeing it. I was in my cousin's house, and it was on in the background, and I remember seeing the scene where he kills Jared Leto.
It's crazy to think that he's in this film, isn't it?
Yeah, I hate him.
Yeah, so do I.
But like I was sitting there and like I wasn't watching it, and it was on, and I was like, let me borrow that DVD when I'm going home, or video. It was a video. Let me borrow that video. My mom was like, "What is it?" And I was like, "It's grand. It's only a movie. It's fine."
It's based on a book. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, the Bret Easton Ellis book.
That's the one.
Yeah, which is an insane book.
Yes.
There's like 3 chapters of him just talking about suits, and you're like, what? But obviously, this is a descent into madness, really, for Patrick Bateman. Yeah. Obviously, the drug-fueled sex capades can only go on for so long before the mind gets warped. But like some of his actions in this, where he's saying he's only a vessel for evil and things, and you're just like, yeah, it's like Chris. This in my opinion is probably Christian Bale's best movie.
Yeah, I'd agree with you actually.
His best performance, anyway.
It's fantastic. It's absolutely top of the range, and like as we all know that the scenes where they're all excuse me, where they're all comparing like the cards, the business cards and all. The narcissism is just disgustingly high.
It's gas, and then even like everyone remembers certain scenes in this if you've seen it. Obviously, the Jared Leto getting killed scene, the bit with the hookers, but like when he rings his solicitor, I was like, I just killed 2 people, this, that, and the other. He's like, it's the chase scene in this is extremely well done as well.
Yeah,
like a lot of people when you're talking about chase scenes in a movie, this gets slept on.
Yeah. But that's okay because I mean we can enjoy it even more then, you know.
Yeah, like it's got a fairly decent rating as well. Rotten Tomatoes have it at 69%. I don't really go by that, but it's
Now,
a
is
pretty
that the
good
is
rating
that the
for
critics rating or the
that's the critics rating.
audience?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if I was going on Rotten Tomatoes, it wouldn't be the critics rating I'd be going on.
well, the audience score 85%.
There you go. That sounds a bit better.
It's not an easy watch either.
No,
And there's very gory violence in it, but not a lot of it.
no. But when
Um,
it's done well.
and it's
It's
done
done
right.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like this is where we'll say with psychological thrillers, it's one that you don't have to exploit gore for no reason.
yeah, yeah.
Um, which I think this does perfectly.
I think if you get a chance to look at is when he on his little writing pad when your woman discovers the writing pad and he has all his plans on what he's gonna do. I think that's cool. When your woman takes
Oh,
it out,
the girl, yeah,
yeah, and you see exactly what he's actually been doing all along. I think that's cool. I mean, trying to figure out what's exactly on the page and
the
match it
scene,
up.
yeah, or even the scene, when he has her sitting on the chair and he's trying to take out the nail gun to shoot her in the head, and he's like,
Yeah.
no, 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 and he keeps going back, and you're like, oh, he's brilliant. It's just brilliant. But like he looks like an evil bastard in this as well from the start.
Yeah, yeah. He
Plays
plays it.
like yeah,
He plays a psycho, I suppose you could say. He plays a psycho very well.
yeah. He's a good character actor, to be fair to him.
Great actor. Great actor.
It wouldn't be one of my favorites now. I'll watch him. It's not that I wouldn't turn it on if he was in it. But yeah, when he plays the part, he plays it very well.
Yeah. Also, Alan, what was that one, The Machinist, where he lost
he weighed
all
about
that weight?
20 stone or 20 kilos or something.
Fucking unreal.
Like that man's gonna die very soon with his fucking liver. His kidneys are gonna give up on him.
Yeah.
Because that's not healthy.
So he was cutting weight before the fucking UFC fighters were.
Yeah. He was doing it on the wrong scale of things.
It's the wrong way, yeah. Going from a heavyweight to a featherweight. What the fuck?
No,
Well, yeah.
We opened up with this. This is a psychological. Like some people might disagree that it's a psychological thriller. I don't. I will gladly go on this because you have to think about what's happening.
Yeah, and I'll back you up on that 110%,
Yeah.
Greg. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's American Psycho. Of course, there was never a follow up to that, I don't think. But I did watch a film.
No, there is a psycho.
Oh, there is. Yeah, well, we don't.
American Psycho 2 with Mila Kunis.
Well, Mila Kunis, yes, but
It's bad, but it's not terrible. It's just
not as
piggybacking off a name.
it's not as bad as American Werewolf in Paris. Put it that way.
It's not as bad as Texas Chainsaw 22 either, mind
No.
you. Sure, look.
I know, yeah. But
Anyway,
anyway,
all got their own crosses to carry.
I can't believe we've sat through that flipping film, man. I really can't.
I had more entertainment giving out about it than I did watching it.
Me too. It was cathartic, that episode. It really was.
How we didn't get banned for excessive cursing.
Well, I don't know. We got through it anyway. But right, I'll go with a pick then, and I know you love this film. And here's the funny thing. I mean, like everyone knows I'm an old school horror fan, but in the last 10 years or so, I'm after coming around to a lot of this kind of elevated horror, right? I know I keep saying that, but a lot of there's some good films here. Even my honorable mentions are fantastic, but this one was the first one that I really took notice of the newer ones, and that's The Witch by Robert Eggers.
Or Vitch, isn't it?
Yeah, The Witch. The Witch.
Yeah.
But 2015, and of course brought out by A24, which is infamous for these kind of films.
Slow ones, yeah.
Yeah.
They actually brought out X.
Well, there you go.
Absolutely phenomenal.
I think when the three of us have watched it, we'll do a review of it.
Yeah, 100%. We'll try and get that done as a thing before it burns out a little bit. But
Yeah.
X was phenomenal as an A24, and I'm not normally an A24 movie person.
I'm just realising how much of an A24 fan I am when I did down this list.
Hereditary, all them in it.
Shut up, will you? Shut them away. But anyway, So this was made in 2015, and it's starred, let me see, Ellie Granger. It was her first role as the young one in it.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Ralph Ineson, who was the dad, Harvey Grimshaw was the brother. Of course, it's based in the 1630s, and now I love those kind of dark films, whether in the medieval times, we'll say.
yeah, oh yeah.
And
When they're a lot darker, you can do a lot more stuff with it.
yeah,
I think that's why I kind of fell into the new Wolfman.
yeah,
That's why I kind of think that one worked a lot better than most of them, even though it wasn't great.
I like it though. I do like it.
It's better than what's there,
Mm,
but like that whole dark persona of movies really does work when you get it right.
yeah,
Robert
absolutely.
Eggers is hitting on all levels at the minute.
Big time, big time.
Yeah.
But in this one, anyway, it's about this young one who's accused of being a witch, and the family get kind of excommunicated from their colony, and they try and set up and set their own. Yeah, shoo. And all I'll say to you about that is it's very atmospheric. It's so creepy in a great way.
It's very Blair Witch-esque, isn't it? The way it's
Yeah,
designed in the build up to all the incidents that happen. Like,
it could actually be. You could if you could possibly link it as a prequel to the Blair Witch
to Blair
Project.
Witch.
The
Yeah,
way it's
that's right.
done, yeah.
But
But
I suppose they're in Salem, and I know it's a different woods in Wisconsin or whatever
yeah,
Blair Witch was, but it wouldn't be a bad idea. You could try and pry it off, but it means Robert Eggers have to deal with Eduardo Sanchez.
we don't want to do that.
Well, I mean, the two of them put together it's a good movie, I'd imagine.
Be interesting, but I mean, when you just think of the premise of it, it would be a great
Yeah,
prequel for.
it'd work perfectly, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it.
Again, and
Pay us our money now.
Edgar says he's not going to give us anything. This was his first film, was it? No, I think it was his first.
I think there might have been one. This might be his first big movie.
Yeah, yeah, this was his first big one. It made 40.4 million,
Not
which
bad,
wasn't bad at all for one of his first outings. Very atmospheric, and there's a very friendly little goat in it called Black Phillip. That's all we're gonna say about that. But I think we
Black
would,
Phillip is
yeah,
gas.
I think we would all highly recommend this film.
But
Absolutely.
here's a funny one for you, right? I don't know whether you looked it up before we come on. I'll give you the Rotten Tomatoes. What would you say the Rotten Tomatoes score would be?
For audience or
Say critics first.
76.
It's a 90% critics,
Wow.
right?
Okay.
What would you say the audience score is?
I'd say it's lower than the critics anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, it is lower.
So about 80.
No, 59.
Ooh,
So this is showing you that people didn't stick with it,
yeah.
in my opinion, which is very poorly. Now, I will say I didn't stick with it the first time. I was saying to you earlier on the phone. First time I watched it, I had a Chinese delivered. The landlord arrived, and I was like, it was just on. And then when I actually sat down and rewatched it, when I rewatched it in the dark, and
Yeah.
turned my phone off and put it away, and I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna give it a go." And I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix now as well.
It is. Yes. Yeah, it is.
So we'd highly recommend going and checking that out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's The Witch. Another great, strong opening, modern horror unusual for me. What you got
It
next?
is. I'm gonna go back to the year I was born this time.
A long time ago.
I'm gonna bring in the infamous clown from the 1990s,
Ooh.
and the masterful performance from Tim Curry as it.
Absolutely.
Now I know people will say, "Well, it's not really a psychological." The original miniseries is.
Agreed. Yeah.
The new one focused more on jump scares and whatnot. But if you go back and watch the old one's as close to the book as you're gonna get it.
Yeah, without it being banned.
Yeah. Well, we won't talk about that. That whole fucking 2.5 chapters of
Dirt.
craziness, yeah. But no, the movie itself, all right, it's aged, and the acting is probably good for the 90s. mid-range, but the performance of Tim Curry and how he torments people, and like that's like in the new one, that's I think where they let me down. That it wasn't as much tormenting people as scaring them, where Pennywise with Tim Curry is tormenting them with noise and just appearing and popping balloons at them. And
well, like you say, I think the older version is a lot more psychological. You know, now that's I'm not taking that away from the new one. I like the new one, as you know.
I didn't. I liked the first one. I didn't like the second one, and then I rewatched them, where I took myself out of having seen the 1990s one. I tried to say, right, I haven't seen this. This is a fresh start, and I didn't mind them. They were good as what they were.
Yeah. For me, I like the original, but the only thing that really sticks for me is Tim Curry's performance. That's a world class performance on any level. Yeah, it really is.
I'm gonna go on a bold one here, and I'd say that's probably his best performance.
It is his best performance. It's. I
know some people will turn around and say, "Oh, Rocky Horror Picture Show," or this, that, and the other. No, I think Pennywise is. It was spot on.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, like Frankenfurter was kind of meant to be funny and sexy and cheeky and all this kind of thing, and he nailed that part. Fantastic.
I don't like Rocky Horror.
I love it. But when he comes to Pennywise, little curls with his mouth, little thing, like that whole thing where he's in the sewer, and he's like, just a little go. Everyone, I don't even just go watch it. Just all his bits.
This is the 1990 miniseries. It's perfection as a psychological antagonist could be.
Yeah. So like I think
forget about everything else in it. Like just watch his performance, and you're like, wow.
I think you could actually, if you could just look at all his bits in the whole film, it's to me that's what makes it a good film.
Yeah, like even when you look at it, where he's obviously everyone remembers the bit where he's in the sewer and he kills the bird at the start. He's like, "You'll float too." That's fine. Everyone remembers that, but like, there's certain ones where he comes out and says, "Kiss me, fat boy."
Yeah.
Or Bailey boy. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Or when he picks up the phone, he makes the prank phone call. He's like, "Do you have Prince Albert in a can? You better let the poor guy out." And like you can just tell he ad-libbed a lot of this.
Yeah. But there you go. I mean, he's still leaning on a clown type character, like the Prince Albert thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I know it isn't primarily a clown.
No.
It's just an entity, but that's the form that it took for a lot, because it drew kids in that he could trust them.
Yeah. Oh, remember the start where he gets the kid with behind the washing line?
Yeah.
That's creepy.
Like that day, you just see half his face, and then you see his shoes, and you're like, actually, his face just turns, and you're like, oh dear.
Yeah.
Like that. It's the 1991 for me is perfect. Like, all right, again, acting, meh.
It's a bit long as well.
Well, that's what I like. They broke it into two parts, and I remember I used to watch this when I was younger. It used to come on Sky One.
Yeah, Sky One.
On a Sunday night, you'd have the first part where they were kids, and then next week it'd be the second part when they're adults.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was brilliant. The audience score and the critic score on this are near about the same. 68% critics, 63% audience.
That's fair. I mean, like, like as I said, the strongest thing of this is Tim Curry. So that's where I think that's the weakest part of the new one. Was Bill Skarsgård. I don't know. I liked him as.
He wasn't bad. Don't get me wrong. He wasn't bad. Now I could turn around and be me because I don't like James McAvoy. I'd say he was the worst thing in it.
Yeah.
I actually think out of the adults, Jessica Chastain was the worst.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bill Hader stole the show.
Of course, he's brilliant.
I actually think he would have made a very good Pennywise.
He would have. Yeah. He would have. But that again, I have no issues with Skarsgård at all. That's just me.
No, I don't either. Like I did having watched it in the cinema, the second part, and I was like, I just didn't like it. But when I went back and took myself out of loving the original, It wasn't bad. Like it was good.
See, I have a formula now for films like that. Well, like I gave him the benefit of the doubt before I watched it, because years ago I would have said, no, he's doing Pennywise, fuck him, like, you know.
Yeah, no,
And
I'd gone that way. I went, nah, didn't like the casting from when I heard
yeah,
it, and
yeah. I was, but see, and I'm taken from my experience with Heath Ledger, because me and my mates, when we heard Heath Ledger was going to be cast as the Joker, we were like, no, I'm not watching that. No fucking
Jack
way.
is still the best Joker.
Well, I probably tend to agree with you, but you know, I now wait before but I now wait before I cast judgment on the actor, like what I did with Robert Pattinson in the Batman. You know,
Still haven't seen that yet.
it's very good, but that's a different podcast. You know,
Like, see, the only thing I can think of here where I'd say, for the likes of that, when you're saying this person's been recast as, or say Skarsgård as it, following a book, do you know what I mean? So it should technically kind of be the same kind of character.
yeah,
Where when you have Heath Ledger as the Joker, it was a different Joker than Jack's Joker. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. I know, yeah. I suppose you could. They're a bit easier to get away with it with Jokers because there's different iterations of Joker. So
Yeah. But look, it is what it is. I've come around to the new ones. I still prefer the old one, and I'd still put the old one on quicker. But that'd be my second pick.
nice one, a good one. Right, so my second pick is after becoming one of my favorite films, as you know, in the last couple of years. But here's the thing: as I said to you, I've only watched it once. Right?
It's a long watch as well.
It is. Let's just tell people what it is, and I'm sure they don't. It's Hereditary, from 2018 by Ari Aster. I think this is a fucking masterpiece. It's an absolute masterpiece, and the reason I'm saying that is because I've watched it once, but I enjoyed every second of it. But there's something blocking me from watching it again.
It's like Schindler's List, isn't it? You watch it once and now it's a masterpiece, and like, nah, I'm not gonna watch that again.
I went to actually sit down and watch it again there the other day, and I was just like, no, I'm not ready. So
sometimes you get those movies, and you're like X has done that for me.
Brilliant.
Where I only watched it 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, I'd love to sit and watch it again just in case there's bits I missed.
Yeah.
But it's not, and I think it's the same company that released Hereditary released X and A24, wasn't it?
Yeah, A24, yeah.
Yeah. Again, I don't want to keep jumping back to X, but A24 are certainly knocking out. As I said, didn't happen to be my kind of films normally, but I was certainly into that.
Yeah.
This is the one that I said that I wasn't a thing of, and I will go back and watch it again.
Yeah.
And try give it again.
I think it's worth a second look. What I love about this is it really is probably the purest, apart from the top one that we're going to talk about. It's quite possibly the purest psychological horror I think I've seen. There's so much in it. Yeah, you can still enjoy it, but like, this is the perfect film for watching it, multiple times, because you're gonna find something new in it with every viewing, And I just think that's really clever filmmaking,
There even when you look back to certain 80s films and 70s films and things, even when you watch them now, like I've watched Big Trouble in Little China a million times, and there's still parts that I'm looking at going, oh yeah, look at that just happened.
I love that. I love that with a film. If you find something that you never noticed before, but if you find it on your own instead of someone telling you.
Yeah.
But Hereditary anyway. It was starred Toni Collette, Alex Wolff, Millie Shapiro, I think it was, or Shepherd. That's the little young one. She's that kind of strange looking little young one. There's always one in films like that. Yeah. And Gabriel Byrne is in it. He's probably the biggest star in it.
Gabriel Byrne, what a man.
But this made 80.2 million, which is another.
Probably off the back of nothing.
Yeah, I think it was like maybe 4 or 5 million, maybe. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, like again, atmosphere. The filmography is fantastic in it. Like there's something going on, but you can't quite grasp what's going on yet. And when it happens, and like this is, I always say I love films that don't have happy endings, and this is the film that made me solidify that statement because there's no happy ending in this film.
That's how horror movies should be.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be this bullshit of, oh, because you're the final girl, you survive.
No.
They're the twists that should be put into movies, even into slasher movies. They don't always have to survive.
No, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like, going into, say, a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, going into a Friday the 13th, going into Texas Chainsaw, going into whatever, at least one person is surviving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's a pain in the hole. Then again, like, I go back to it all the time, like, Wrong Turn, not everybody survives in them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And they were the twists. They were the twists that made it different.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you can appreciate that, because
even changing the rules. The way, obviously, like the horror rules followed it. You had sex, you were gonna die. If you were black, you were gonna die.
Yeah.
They're starting to change those now, and they're doing it in a way to make movies better. And like they're taking away the happy endings a lot more.
Yeah.
They're taking away those rules. They're throwing the rule in your face and then saying, "Nah, we're not going to do that. We're going to do it my way now."
Yeah.
Which is great because now there's a bit more originality coming into movies rather than just a direct reboot.
Yeah. Well, put it this way: if you like the films on our lists are that kind of original kind of thinking films. But in fairness, there's an awful lot now, and we could rant about this kind of thing. There's an awful lot of wokeness, as Ian would like to say, in films, creeping into series now.
Yeah, we're falling into that protecting everything from cancel culture.
Yeah, so that's why
if you don't like a movie, right? If you watch a movie and you didn't like it, you got offended by this part or that part, just fuck off and leave the movie alone.
Move on. It's not for you.
You might like it. You've watched it. It's done. It's over. There's nothing you can do. You can't change it. So don't bother trying to set up a fucking petition to get it cancelled so no one else can watch it.
That makes people want to look at it even more than I think. Proper fans makes them want to watch it.
I think that really started with Cannibal Holocaust and things like that.
Yeah.
Remember it came out and people were like, "Oh, they're actually dead," and then the director was getting sued.
He was getting arrested. He was going to be charged with murder.
That's what it was. Sorry, not getting he was getting charged with murder.
What he had done was he had got them all to sign a contract to go and hiding for like about a year or whatever. I remember it's
non-disclosure to work for a year.
But they had to come out of that hiding to defend him because he was getting put in jail.
Yeah, no, but like things like that, you have people, and then you have the fucking simps that started the. Oh, well, he killed the fire brigades in Halloween, or the firemen that were helping him in Halloween Kills. It's a horror movie.
That's what I meant to do.
If you don't like it, fuck off and go watch Bambi. Simple.
Or something else, like, I don't know, High School Musical or something.
Yeah. I don't care what you go and watch. Just leave the movie alone. The movie was made by people, for people. Yeah. You shouldn't be able to start a fucking petition to get it taken away because you didn't like one part of it. Just don't watch it. Simple as that.
Exactly. So back to Hereditary for a minute. The music. No, you're grand. That's what we're here for. But I think that the soundtrack to this film as well, as in the soundscapes that
I will say was phenomenal.
Yeah.
That brought you back to a John Carpenter kind of way, wasn't it? The scores, the little music in the background,
and at the, like I was saying to the end, and it's not a happy ending, but whatever the way the music crescendos with the end, it's amazing. I can't stress enough. It's on Netflix, I believe. Go check it out, and that's Hereditary.
I will. I'll even go back and rewatch it.
I want to know. We all want to know what Greg thinks of it.
As I says, which changed my mind. I mean, why can't another one? You know what I mean? Yeah. It changed my mind. Why can't another one? Texas Chainsaw 2022 did not change my mind.
No, and it didn't change my mind either. All reboots and remakes are fucking shit. So, whatever.
That's false information. That is false information. Yeah. We've been down this road before. There are a few good ones.
I don't know. Well, I should say all Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboots and remakes are shit. Okay,
That's also false information. The 2003 one is better.
no, it's not. We had
It
this
is better.
discussion before, and you do
Yeah,
want to take me on about this, don't you?
yeah. Well, we have to lock down a date for that one. But sure, look,
Yes.
that's a different story. Uh,
Right, so that's their four, and let's do the one that.
quickly before we move off that
Oh,
one, I have the Rotten Tomatoes here for this one.
right.
I might as well give it for them all.
Go on. Will I get the guess, will I?
Yeah, go on. Guess the critics.
86.
Oh, you were close. 89.
Oh,
Yeah. It's a good score. It's a good
yeah,
critic score.
that's a
But
good score.
I found this movie to be a critic kind of award-winning filming. So that kind of
Yeah,
way,
I can
if
understand
that
that.
makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, absolutely.
What would you say the audience score was?
Well, is it lower?
It is lower, yeah.
It's always lower. If the critic score is high, the other 68.
Bang on the money.
There you go.
Again, this is people not sticking it.
It's again. Do you know what? I think a lot of people who would rate it like would be more into slashers, maybe. Like these are a specific type of horror film. You know,
You have to
they're
be
not.
in mind.
Yeah, and they're not for everybody. They're not for everybody. You know.
Yeah.
But what I do like about them is there's not that gratuitous gratuitous blood and gore. As you know, I love that. You know, the mind is worse than what you actually can see. So, you know, if you're expected to imagine something, you're going to imagine the worst thing possible. You know.
I'll tell you what. I don't know whether you've seen it yet. Have you seen "You're Not My Mother," the Irish one?
Not yet. No, that's on the list.
Oh my god, it's so good. Like I didn't put it on my list because it's only relatively new. I didn't want to ruin it for people. And hopefully in the near future we're gonna have Kate Dolan on who directed it.
Yeah, that'll be a great show.
We're at least in talks to see if we can get her to come on.
Yeah.
But
we want to support Irish filmmaking, so
that like I always joke saying Stitches is probably the best Irish horror, and it probably was. In terms of there hasn't been very many good ones.
No.
To an extent, Shrooms was terrible. Grabbers was a good laugh.
Yeah. Boys from County Hell was good. Was enjoyable.
Boys from County Hell was very good actually. That probably would be up until this one. But two different kind of movies. But You're Not My Mother is fantastic.
Yeah, as you say, we'll be hopefully doing a bit more with that down the line. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, I think we'll bring out a big one for the, or we throw a couple of honourable mentions in.
A couple of honourable mentions. I had let's see, Midsummer, which I know you're not a fan of.
Yeah, that's another one of those 24s.
Yeah, and The Lighthouse, another A24. But I think like I watched that.
Lighthouse 24, is it?
Yeah.
Robert Eggers again.
Robert Eggers, and I watched that when I was in hospital after my heart attack. And I was thinking,
gave you another one.
I was thinking, well, maybe I shouldn't be watching this, you know. But it was very enjoyable.
Keeps the heart strong. I still yet to watch it.
It was on Netflix. I think it's gone off it now.
Oh, I have it on DVD.
Oh, brilliant. Go watch it.
Someone got it for me as a present, or Blu-ray or whatever it is. Someone got it for me as a present.
Nice present.
Yeah. Any more there?
Misery. I put down.
This is Kathy Bates and James Caan. Just like I know we covered it in an episode a number of weeks ago. Like I was actually only reading a thing on Facebook, you know, where they pop up and like, what's one movie scene that sticks with you?
Oh God, yeah.
Right, and people are like, say Mufasa's death scene and The Lion King, things like that. And someone wrote under it, Kathy Bates with a hammer beside her face. And that's all. The whole comment was just that. And you're like. And all I could do was picture it, and I was like, "Oh God, his ankle."
Do you remember when I did the promo for Misery, and it's that build-up?
Oh no, it's just no. Like everyone knows the pain when they're walking and they roll their ankle. Yeah. Imagine some fucking
smashing your
whack
ankle,
dog, hobbling you.
Hobbling, that's what they call it. Yeah. What are some of your honourable mentions?
I have a couple here. So Identity. Which is can't think of his name. Michael Madsen.
Oh, right, okay.
Where there's 6 of them, or 6 or 7 people in a hotel, and people start winding up dead. This is one you actually have to sit and watch. It's very similar shooting style to like the likes of Seven and things like that.
Nice.
Have you ever seen it?
No, I was funny enough. I was only looking at it this week, so I will be actually looking at it this week.
Is it Michael Madsen? No, it's not Michael Madsen. It's sorry, it's what the fuck's his name? Man from 1408.
Oh, yeah, that's one of your favorite films, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't think of his name. It's one of Tombstone Ted's. His name is John Cusack.
No, I'm not a fan of John Cusack.
Oh well, it's not just him. There's others in it. It's got a big cast, but it's an absolutely phenomenal thought about movie.
Yeah.
And whatnot. I have Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer in What Lies Beneath.
Great film.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
That was one you really didn't expect what was coming at the end.
You wouldn't have expected either actor to be in a film like that either.
Yeah, and it was also because Harrison Ford was obviously like he was Han Solo and things. He was like an American hero, like.
Yeah.
Obviously 1408's another one. Like it could have easily made my list, but I didn't want to go to that.
You've done an episode on Retrotainment about that, haven't you?
Yeah, we had a very fun episode with 1408 because obviously me and Ted both love it.
Yeah.
And it's not very easy to make a great movie with a cast of about 5 people.
No, but these do it so.
Yeah, they do it very well. I have one, and this is going to be a very contentious choice because it's rated so fucking badly on Rotten Tomatoes. The number 23 with Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey, yeah, that's a good film.
This has an 8% Rotten Tomato score. 8.
Is that by fans?
It's by critics.
Fans will be a bit higher than that.
Yeah, I think the fans are like in the 50s. But 8% is shocking.
For that film, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like Jim Carrey's performance and that's brilliant. Yeah, it's 56 by the audience.
Yeah, well, that's fair, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, so like if you had a critic score of about 20 or 30, you were grand. Like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought 8% was a bit harsh. But I think it's time to bring out the big one, really, isn't it? Yeah,
absolutely. And I think I'm not surprised that we both agreed on this straight away.
Yeah, well, if you think of a psychological horror, this is
the Big Daddy.
Yeah, this is a live depiction. Well, not a live depiction, obviously, but it's a depiction of a man going through the motions.
Yeah.
Of craziness.
Going down into the depths of insanity.
Yeah. And he was the caretaker, to be fair to him.
Go on, tell us what it is. Go on.
It has to be The Shining.
Yeah, absolutely.
It couldn't be anything else, really, could it?
No.
And it's not the second version of The Shining, the one that Stephen King likes. This is the real Shining.
Stanley Kubrick's one.
Yeah. Even if Stephen King doesn't like it.
Why did he not like it? I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've read interviews and loads of them are conflicting, and he doesn't like this because of that. And I think he just has a problem with Stanley Kubrick. I think it's a slower build than that other one. Now, don't get me wrong, that other one isn't bad.
I've never watched it.
It's not bad, but this is the one. Jack Nicholson's absolutely
powerhouse,
phenomenal. Like he could have got an Oscar for this.
He should have.
He should have got an Oscar for this. Yeah.
Yeah.
She does my head in though, Shelley Duvall. Jesus fucking Christ.
Did I hear right that when he was doing the accent that he didn't tell them?
Yeah, that just happened.
That just happened. That's class.
But Jack is just Jack, really, isn't he?
Yeah, he's such a good actor.
Even the kid in this was brilliant.
Yeah.
And like normally when you have kids in a horror film, you're like, oh, I'd love to punch the head off them kids.
That's because this little fucker creeped the fuck out of you.
Especially when you look at the likes of the Babadook and things like that. That little kid, it's just like, fuck you, kid.
If you ever want, listen, I'm just telling you now. If you ever wanted to review that film, I won't be on the show.
Yeah, I'm not doing it either.
So Ian
I'm
can do it
not
on his
watching
own.
that shit again.
Yeah, he can do it on his own.
No, but this movie was absolutely tremendous. Like I think a lot of the stuff that he doesn't like, I'd say, is like, have you read the book?
No, I haven't.
So in the book, Jack is an arsehole right from the start.
Right.
So like, him and the wife are fighting all the time and things, and whatnot. And like, he forgets to pick the kids up, and he doesn't talk to them. He comes home, and he sleeps, and he goes out and he drinks, and usual. But like, obviously, he's like a fun-loving person at the start of this, and then starts to descend.
I think that's more impactful.
It definitely looks better. It definitely looks better. But I think Stephen King doesn't like things changed from the book, but yet he liked the new It. Do you know what I mean?
So there you go, Mr. King. When Mr. King wants to change something, that's okay, you know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's that's for a different episode.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, the descent of madness into this, and like the young fella figuring out that he has the shilling.
The shilling.
Yeah. Good old Simpsons quote there. Yeah, it's thing. No, I actually read something there a couple of days ago, right? I think I sent it in to you. So every Stephen King book is linked back to It.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right. So I'm just going to try and find it there. If you want to take over there for a second, Carl, I'm going to try and find where he links this one.
Yeah,
It's to do with not a coloured guy who was
the caretaker.
Mike, yeah. So Mike in It, his dad served in the army with Dick, who was the coloured guy in that could hear things talking to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the mad little touches that he has.
He has it. It's almost like he has his own shared universe or multiverse,
yeah.
I suppose you could say.
Yeah. To an extent, yeah.
Yeah, because I think some of his things pop up in other films other books.
Yeah. It pops up in the Dark Tower and things.
But not as a clown though, sure is that?
No, he does, yeah. There's a picture of him in the background, and then there's something else on the wall.
And does that happen in the film of that?
I don't know. I haven't seen the film.
No, I've never seen the film. But anyway,
go back to The Shining.
Yeah, I mean, I loved, again, the soundtrack of this is...
Again, slow building music.
Ominous.
Yeah, and like, you can just tell that something was going to happen. And like, then again, they threw stuff in here that you weren't expecting. If you haven't read the book, like, I hadn't read the book when I seen this first. And like, you know, the scene where when he's up in the room that they don't go into, and he's there, he's in the bath with your one, next thing you know, she's just like a corpse.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck is going on here? And like, when he's in the bar drinking with the barman.
I love that bit.
And then the party starts, and he's like, "You're the caretaker, Mr. Grady," and you're like, "You sneaky son of a bitch." Yeah, and he's there in the picture of 1908 or whatever.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
It's like how someone writes something like that.
Yeah, but that's the great thing about creativity, is like, there's no limits, you know.
The Overlook Hotel.
That's it. And of course, there was a Dr. Sleep was a spiritual successor to it, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the son in it.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it now. I do know the Overlook Hotel is in a good old Denver, Colorado.
Oh God, take that crap off.
Had to throw that in there with you wearing that Raiders top.
Yeah. Not by Fright Rags, by the way.
Unless they want to do NFL stuff, in which case they can have more money.
Absolutely.
But that's it. Again, that's a discussion show for a different thing. But no, like, even when you see the weather rolling in this, like, I know we've had snow here, and we've never had really bad snow until a couple of years ago. And then you see snow like that. I know it's a movie, but obviously it doesn't happen in real life like that.
Yeah, that's it. And funny enough, Greg, I don't know if you've ever, you don't like Slipknot, you don't?
No.
They have a video for a song called Spit It Out, and it's based on The Shining.
Oh, class.
You should have a look
What
at
is
it. It's
it?
actually it's called spit it out, like as in, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw
Um,
that in and I'll have a look at it
do,
when we jump
but it's
off
done
here.
very well. It's done very well, you know.
Yeah,
Um, but I think we leave it at that for now. What do you think, Greg?
I don't think we could have ended with it better. Maybe Silence of the Lambs might have been the other better one,
Well, we
but
could like I mean we could do a whole series of episodes on Silence of the Lambs on its own, you know.
yeah, like I know you covered one at the very beginning,
Yeah, yeah,
and rightly fucking so.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? But like as I says, we didn't want to use that one because obviously when
yeah.
you say that, that's one. Like The Shining nowadays slips through the crack because I think a lot of people won't sit and watch the time. It won't give it the time. Like my missus wouldn't give it the time when we watched. She'd never seen it, and I tried to watch it with her, and she's like, "This is shite," and I was like, "Get out."
Yeah, get out of the house.
So I kicked her out of the sitting room. She went upstairs, and I continued watching.
Did she watch X Factor or something? Did she?
No, she doesn't watch any of them.
Oh,
My
that's okay.
God. Yeah. Which
Well,
isn't
look,
too bad.
well, that's it. Look, we'll leave it at that for now.
Yeah.
Thanks again if you're watching us on YouTube or if you're listening to us on Spotify or Anchor or anything like that.
Yeah.
The show is up every Friday. Why is the show up on Friday nights, Greg? You tell me.
Why is it up on Friday nights? Gee, let me think. What do we watch on Friday nights, Carl?
Red panties, mate.
Break out the red pennies, baby. We made it.
Friday night is
horror night.
exactly.
Actually, technically, any night is horror night with me.
Yeah.
But,
Well, same, but like for the purpose of this podcast,
we have a general nostalgia to Friday nights.
yeah,
God bless
Absolutely.
TG4, Channel 4, Sky 1, anyone that wanted to show a horror movie along the way.
that's where we learned our we cut our teeth, I suppose you could say.
Yeah. You warped three lads' minds into
into what we have now.
yeah. The show, obviously the third man being the Dynamo who's not here right now.
Absolutely. But look, I think we'll leave it at that for now. It's been great again, Greg, as always. Thanks for joining me on the show, and it's always a great show when the boys are on, you know. But as I said at the end of this, go check out frightrags.com. See if there's anything nice on their site, and
what do you mean? See if
well,
try to find something that's not nice.
Get something on their site. Use our promo code OTS Horror 10 and get
They
10%
even do
discount.
socks. They
That's
even
right.
do socks.
The
And it's
American-
Back to the Future socks.
The American way from London socks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Carl has 15 pairs of those. Can't find any one of the second bit though.
Exactly. But so look, check out Fry Rags, and as always, we have been on the slab, and as Dynamo would always say, stay scared.